the fact that the Alien franchise exists, as I said earlier, I blame it on Aliens. Because if Aliens had not worked, we wouldn't have this. And everybody was jazzed about getting a third Alien film, apparently, except the people that were making it.
Until they got it.
Well, it's kind of like Ghostbusters 2 and Men in Black. There's the sequel I thought I wanted until I sat down to watch it. And if you think about it, as a franchise, it's probably the goodwill of those two films that's kept that franchise going. It's really a franchise that has more bad movies in it than good. So what is everyone's favorite bad Alien film? Of basically anything not the first two, which is the one you, okay, I'll watch this, with the one that just doesn't totally offend your sensibilities to watch?
Well, that's an easy answer for me. I'm going to go with Alien Resurrection, the one with Winona Ryder and just.
Oh, you're getting cheers from the peanut gallery.
To me, the whole movie just seemed like a money grab. It's like, God, how can we milk this cow a different way?
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Favorite bad one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misinterpreted the question. So
That's the least
that's my least favorite band. So I guess really I would have to be the. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted.
You just lost your support.
I lost the support.
The crowd will turn on you, sir. Be careful.
Put the tomatoes down.
I'm sorry. So my favorite bad Alien film will probably be the Alien 3. That was
okay.
That was but I guess I just hate Resurrection so bad. I just always want to talk how bad it is. So it just comes at it. But so anyway, so yeah, so that.
There's a good debate to be had there, but pass the mic.
Round. Right. So I will agree with you, sir. The most terrible. I didn't like that. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I won't go into. But my favorite, I guess you really can't even call it a bad Alien film. But my favorite, I guess, kind of going with the theme of the question is Prometheus, because Prometheus, and we were talking about this, me and Jason, a little while ago. But Prometheus, to me, one of my favorite movies, in quite a while. I hate the fact that it's tied to the Alien story, because I think it does more of a disservice to the story than it does anything. It doesn't enhance it. It doesn't do anything. It tears it down. It ruins a lot of what made the first, what made Alien powerful. Ruins a lot of it. But as its own film, if it did not touch at all the actual Alien story, I love it because it's inventive, it's highly creative, highly intelligent. The visuals are stunning. The story is out of this world. So that's my favorite.
Okay, I was tempted to list Prometheus as mine for a lot of the same reasons. I think that to me, I agree with everything you said. I think Prometheus needed to just jump in one side. Either we're going to be an Alien prequel or we're going to be our own thing. Either one could have worked very well. Yep. But yeah, I think its problem was it was asking all these really cool, neat philosophical questions.
Right.
We're making an Alien film. Get the monster ready. So
trying to answer questions that didn't need answers.
Right. But for me, and I've alluded to this already, my favorite of the bad Alien films is Alien 3, the special edition, because for God's sakes, this is the movie that gave us David Fincher. I know Turtle Gal's happy about that. Yeah. Thank you for your enthusiasm. But because you really do, especially now that he's a more established filmmaker, you watch that movie and you go, okay, I see what he was trying to do. Right. And the fact that we even got a movie out of Alien 3, if anybody knows the development cycle of it. To me, the most off-putting thing about Alien 3 is, as flawed as the movie was, if they had not killed Hicks and Newt, the audience would have forgiven almost anything else they did. Because that was like, James Cameron said it was a slap in the face to him. It was a slap in the face to fans. Because this was Ripley's new family. Yeah, right. She lost her daughter. We don't really know what her husband's situation was or anything like. She never says. But you assume that they were going to become like a team or a family, and then when they did that, it's just okay, But yeah, there were a lot of things about Alien 3 that I think really work, even though it's not. At the end of the day, it's really.
But that was the one redemptive quality of the previous film.
Yeah.
Was that she was able to form
Right,
You know,
exactly.
the concept of a family.
And then they yanked it out from
Yeah.
under, and just, I don't know, it was very off. To start the film off with such an off-putting move, I don't think it ever really recovered, so. Jay?
Okay, so having said that, I would say that Resurrection is my least favorite, or is my favorite bad alien movie.
Oh, okay, so you're on the opposite end.
I'm on the opposite side because of what you guys just said. You get hit in the face with this about those two characters that had become her family, and I'm sorry, in my opinion, the movie did no good from that point on. It failed from the start. Yeah, I mean, some of the aspects of the movie was okay to watch, but I would just rather watch Resurrection and just skip all the other Aliens 3. I didn't really stand it. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it had, like I said, it had some good shining moments as far as some of the sets and everything else, and God, they went through so many different things with the sets.
Yeah, yeah.
So at least they got some of that right.
Yeah.
But I would say that, Resurrection is my favorite bad.
So you didn't like Rock in the movie, you should not have.
Well, you know, that's another thing about Alien 3 that sucks, is you can't tell anybody apart.
Yeah.
Because they got all their heads shaved. I mean, yeah, you got Charles Dutton,
Yeah.
because you got to talk.
What's wrong with having your head shaved?
Well, I don't know. You know, actually, I would say not a damn thing, actually, from where I stand.
Well, and you touch bases a little bit on the Prometheus and everything. Again, for that, on a tangent, I will agree with you 100%. You need to pick a side.
Yeah.
Because, at first it's like, okay, this is kind of a very brilliant movie. I like where you're going with this, and then they just flip the page, turn the book upside down, and then light it on fire. And it's like, okay, I just don't get this.
I'm gonna go with the majority and say Prometheus. And the reason I don't like it is because they take away the magic. You get to see behind the curtain, and they answer some things that don't need to be answered. I don't need to know how they were created. I don't need to know about the architects. The mystery was what made most of this really suspenseful and engaging. And you're just taking that all away. You explain it, mansplain it, you've scienced it all up. And you've given me no hope or no faith in anything else beyond that. It's like, oh, well, okay, I know all the answers now. I don't need to watch anything else. Right, he did it poorly. But just that aspect alone, you wouldn't talk about Phantom Menace, same type of situation.
Right.
Where you've got this mystical, this force, this something out there.
Actually, it's blood disease.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
Mini what?
Yeah.
I've got minis.
Girl, you told me you were clean.
Oh my God.
Edit.
Yeah. So you've taken something that had a divine force behind it, and now you've just turned it into just something, oh, it's my new pen, it's my new phone, it's no big deal. And you just trashed everything that everybody's kind of believed in or feared, or been afraid from for so long. So, to me, that's why it's a bad thing. Other than that, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
The special effects, the most of the plot points are okay, but it's just a really great film. But like Brown said, if you do not attach this to the Alien franchise or the lore, then it's great. Once you start putting it together, it rules.
Well, and you said about, that's the other thing too about Prometheus. If you think too hard about it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like when you're like, oh, wait a minute. How'd they get all those eggs in that ship, though? Because the eggs weren't in it. You got a ship full of eggs. Well, now, wait a minute. That wasn't, what was it? It's just, not even overthink it, you just sit down and think about it logically, it doesn't line up. So, again, Ashton?
Well,
What's your favorite bad alien film?
I'm not gonna put Alien 3 because I actually thought that was a really good movie, so that's not gonna be in my bad list.
Wow, okay.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
I'd probably do Resurrection.
Okay.
And no one's mentioned Covenant, which I'm surprised by too.
Why? Why are you surprised?
Well, I thought people would mention it as you've all mentioned Prometheus.
Did you like Covenant?
Yeah, it was okay.
Well, and I think that's why I didn't list it as my least or worst. I mean, Covenant to me is a good. I liked it. Jay and I are kind of in the minority in our group that went saw. We both enjoyed it. Now, did I think it was in the caliber of Alien and Aliens? Absolutely not. But I didn't think it was bad. I mean,
I would just say that I think that I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great. I loved it. It was exactly what I was hoping that we would get from another continuation of an Alien movie.
so I guess with everybody's input, like I say, I guess the consensus is that Prometheus and Resurrection are the least favorite, although the aliens in the water, man, I thought that was kind of cool, but it looks very 90s now, but it's okay. So we're going to close this out because we're kind of coming to the end of our summit here for time purposes, and I want to thank everybody for being here, for making this time to do this. This has been great. Hopefully this is not the last one of these that we get to do. We've always got something we can celebrate. Every movie's having an anniversary at some point in time. We got other movies this year that are still having anniversaries. We've got The Black Hole. We've got Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. You're a jam, sir. Buck Rogers. We've got
Beverly Hills.
we've got Amityville Horror, and of course, one we need about 3 bottles of wine for. We got Moonraker. It's also celebrating an anniversary this year. It's right. So but I think that to get back to this, it's almost impossible to overstate the lasting impact of Alien as a film. I mean, it took a lot of people. I mean, Yaphet Kotto was already famous for some of the stuff he did, but there's a lot of people that became household names because of that movie. It made Sigourney Weaver's career. Although Ridley Scott had been directing commercials and he'd done The Duelist, it turned him into an A-list director. I personally feel that Ridley's a better director when he comes to a project as a hired gun, where the script's already in place rather than developing it himself. I think he's a better visualist and director than he is storyteller, but that's a whole different podcast for a whole different day. But Alien also stands as a film to me that shows us what sci-fi and horror can do when they're properly mixed together. The debate goes on forever. Is it a science fiction film? Is it a horror film? I think it's a horror film that takes place in space. But it speaks to all of our deepest and darkest fears. Fear of the unknown, fear of isolation, the fear of our bodies being violated. There's so many things about it that fear that the decisions we're making aren't necessarily our own. That plus, as we've all talked to death about, the acting, the sets, the creature, they all combine to create a film that was not only an instant classic, but it still holds up today. The fact that we're talking about it proves that it is the gold standard of how you do a movie like this. So again, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. This is the closeout of our very first Fanboys 918 Summit. This is Geek Boy signing off.